It is possible to define namespaces in Typescript. Namespaces allow you to organize your code and put related things in the same place. For example, let's say we want to define a namespace. For example, let's say we want to implement a to-do model and respective service classes. For that, we want to use a namespace, which is app model, and we have a to-do model, which is interface. It's possible to define in the same file two namespaces. You can also use the same namespace again in the same file. For example, or you can use the same namespace in another file. For example, I want to use app model namespace again to define another model. It is possible to use the same namespace to extend them. You can also use to-do model in second namespace. For example, I want to use to-do model here as well. For that, I will define to-dos as to-do model array. To-do model is not here available. Why? We have a same namespace. That is because we don't export this interface. If we don't export an item in namespace, then it will be private. If we export this, it is here available here as well. If we have another namespace, let's say instead of model, I say to-do as well here. As you can see, to-do model is not available here again, but it is to-do model is exported. I can import to-do model here to be able to use it. Yes, it is now available here. I can use it. It is also possible to define private members in namespaces. For example, if you want to define a counter here, you can define it without exporting. Then this will be available only in that module. Other modules cannot use it. For example, let's say, let me try to access it. As you can see, I don't see counter in here. If I export counter, it will be available here as well. So it is possible to define private members as well. If you look at the JavaScript function, you can see that it is an immediately executing function which has a private counter variable inside.